I didn't turn the air on. Don't have a good enough ground. Probably have to get out the grinder and clean it up, but let's see. Whoa, it's crazy. It's making like, throwing like, oh, that's destroyed. I just jacked it all up. I don't know what I'm doing.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Alright, so I drew a line basically just on the other side of where the firewall is, because I think the engine still needs to come back just a little bit more. We've got our pedal sitting in there. We're going to try and figure this out. But for now, I got to get that piece cut off because it's in the way. Oh, that's a mess. Guessing not even close. Not even close. Get bigger off of there. Oh shit, that's fucking great. Great enough is what I should say. So I got these duplicatable dealios. So now I can draw all my lines if I have my pen. Somehow I'm messing this up again. Oh, there we go. There we go. So all we're doing here is we're just going to cut off these frame horns even with this guy so that they're parallel to that, and that should give us just enough clearance to or get our valence panel on, which is my goal for the week. All right, so we've got our engine sitting in there on some blocks and a makeshift cross member. What I'm going to do now is start centering it up and then leveling it out. But first, I got to get this chassis leveled. Right now, just a little high on this side, so I already adjusted the suspension stop. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and let a little air out of this tire, and hopefully that'll bring us to level. Well, let's find out. Let's find something good to push this with. Let's use a Clico. I'm using the same level everywhere I check, just in case there's a level of inaccuracy there, which there is in any kind of beam level like that. See if we're getting any closer. We are. A little bit more. Oh, that is so close. It actually matches the back. Let me double check the back again. Yeah, I'd say we're good. So what we got to do now is we got to shift this thing this way. So let's take a little bit of pressure off it. Oh, so close. Of course, I also don't know if it's, there we go. Now it's centered, but it's level, but I don't know if it's centered. So that's next. Nope, gotta come over more. Let's get our plumb bob put back into position. Oh wait, we got to modify our plumb bob and make it much, much shorter. All right. Yeah, right where that yellow line is. Okay, cool. So the back of the engine needs to come over a hair. I'm gonna brain myself on that thing, I know it. Almost, almost. That way just a hair more, which means the front's not centered either. So let's check that. Well, I can tell actually, because I know that point right there is centered. So the front's gotta go that way a bit. Let me get my blocks out of there. There we go. You know, I can't trust these front frame horns, I think is what's going on here. So this thing's still almost an inch to the passenger side, at least according to measurements. So that's a bizarre dealio. So we know where the back is. We got a line there, so that needs to go over that way a little more. This is one of the hardest things to do, is get the engine looking perfectly straight. All right. That is centered according to the chassis center line from what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we've got her temporarily welded in. We ended up at exactly 3 degrees, which is fine. So we got a big fat tack there. We got a big fat tack there. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to keep it from moving side to side. We got a couple tacks on this temporary crossbar, and we strapped the transmission down to the bar. So when it's fine sitting here, but if it's on a trailer, I don't want that bouncing up and down. So the motor's mounted now exactly where I think it's going to end up permanently. But before we make our engine mounts and make it permanent, we're going to have to leave it in mock-up for a little while, because I need to still make sure we can get pedals in it, still make sure the shifter is going to land where it needs to, make sure we're not going to have any issues with any of the lines or exhaust or any of that stuff. So that's why we're kind of building the whole thing in mock-up before we start making actual mounts for everything. I don't want to have to make them twice. I don't want to have to cut anything off and redo it. So by doing mock-up, that allows us to make sure everything fits, make sure it looks the way we want and it sits the way we want, and then we can go through and start replacing the mock-up, like the sticks holding up the engine. We can start taking those out and putting in real mounts. So we'll get to that down the road. But for now, we're still in mock-up phase. We're getting close. We've got the engine mounted in it now. The transmission's mounted in it. So that can go on a trailer now. And in the next video, I believe we're going to get the front end put together. And then depending on how long that video is, we may or may not get to the point where we're actually finalizing this thing and putting it on the trailer for the No Name Nationals. So thanks a bunch for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you like this build and you want to see where it's going, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like S10 content or Nissan hardbody content, we've got a couple playlists on our channel you should go check out. But otherwise, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And until we see you in the next one, take care of yourselves.